I listened to the Crabby Coffee Shop, much to my disappointment, and my God, I've never heard such paranoia.
The only
in
show
my
I've
life.
ever prepared for in my life, and he's highly disappointed.
And my fear is if you hadn't listened to it, I recommend it just as an example of I don't know what the hell it was an example of. You devoted your show to the precautions you have taken and the preparations you have made to survive what I can only presume you meant a nuclear attack on the United States.
A Holocaust, Joe.
Height did not join in much, but you and
no, he did.
You and Joy.
Joy.
What help me?
Dawn.
You and Dawn. I knew it had something to do with nature.
What?
You and Dawn sounds particularly prepared and has been prior to yesterday's show. And Kenny, what struck me is I could only reach the conclusion that you were not doing a bit.
No, of course not.
You were entirely serious.
And it wasn't a prediction. I told you what's going to happen.
Kenny said, he didn't predict. Kenny announced.
This is something I've had my whole life where I absolutely know the future.
Yeah, right. Kenny announced yesterday that there will be an attack on this country, an EMP, I believe you said.
It's going to start with an EMP.
At 3 o'clock Friday?
Yes.
At 3 o'clock Friday.
Central
That's tomorrow.
Time.
That's tomorrow.
Central.
Yes,
Central
tomorrow.
time.
Central time, as John
so that we
pointed
know.
out.
Yeah.
Followed by a nuclear attack an hour later at 4 p.m.
Right.
Followed the next hour by a strategic conventional missiles fired at our nuclear plants.
And you even winnowed down what to do in the event of certain wind directions and
Correct.
What direction you might take off and what
Correct.
place you had in mind. And
Yes.
you painted a dreadful imagery at one
Correct.
point of you
Yeah.
living in your truck.
Yep.
And then you even followed that up with suggesting how long could that possibly last because you'll run out of gas. And I heard some wise counsel.
Right.
Take
It was all wise, Joe.
Take a clean gas can that's never been used. You could fill that with water.
Yeah.
You know, I like that one because I have an unused clean gas can.
Yep.
So I started myself thinking, well, I don't know, should I fill that damn thing with water right now?
Of course you should.
And
I made one huge error, and it's really thrown a wrench into my monkey plan. All of our vehicles have electronic ignitions. Mm-hmm. They're all going to be affected by an EMP.
well, I have one that doesn't, but it would be like the Beverly Hillbillies moving into L.A. if you piled everything in there and everybody on it. It would just look like one of those cars in Iran where people cling into the roof, but it's so old that it has no technology.
Joe, your ignorance, you got me running. I'm going out of my mind here with you. We all have to prepare for this.
Well-
we all have to be ready. We all have to at least think about it and consider some things and build up a supply of what you're going to need in the event of a global holocaust.
Well, maybe I could see the necessity in building up some supplies, but I wouldn't be building up supplies to go anywhere. The hell with it. I'm landlocked. I might as well be in Kyiv in terms of trying to get out in the event something as horrible as you predicted will happen. I'm sorry, you didn't predict it. You announced it will happen.
It wasn't a prediction.
It
It's
wasn't a
gonna
prediction
happen.
because Kenny apparently is clairvoyant and is able to see into the future.
Help me with the math. That's less than 20. No, it's 27 hours from now. Is that correct, John?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found myself siding more on the Height view of the situation, where he didn't seem terribly enthusiastic that he'd get in the car and take off for Bismarck or wherever.
Well, if I was younger, maybe. But at this point,
Okay. Okay, there's also a plan for those who are going to shelter in place. But you have to remember, you're not going to have electricity. That means no heat in the winter. You've got to get yourself a wood stove so you can at least heat a portion of your home. You've got to figure out a way to cleanse water. And if the plant in Monticello is attacked, anything that's coming down the Mississippi is going to be tainted. One of the reasons I've been obsessed with this, and power plants particularly, is I drove past that thing since I was, 5 years old.
Yeah.
And it always produces a great deal of smoke or steam or whatever
It's
it is.
steam.
And you can always see which way the wind is blowing. So every time I'm going by there, I'm going, boy, if this thing goes up, how am I going to get from point A to point B? And I've routed maps down to Iowa and over to South Dakota, just to get around that wind.
Well, I don't really have a place to go, and
Excuse me.
I'm not going to become terribly worried about it.
So I'm putting together my day planner for Friday, Ken. Can you help me just with some of the details really quick?
You can end your day tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Okay.
It's done.
Well, because I was going to go to the Mankato hockey game tomorrow night.
Won't be played.
So should I not even worry about driving
Or
down to
that
Mankato?
game will be postponed,
Okay.
if not obliterated from the map. Okay.
Yeah. I think you guys should just relax. The sun is shining in the sky and there ain't a cloud in sight. I mean,
I agree.
It's a gorgeous day. Come on.
But I recommend, if you want some preparation tips, I will hand it to the crew of the Crabby Coffee Shop. Dawn shocked me with her knowledge of what she needs. And explain to me the dryer lint thing with wax.
Yeah.
That is a really good fire starter. One of the things, it's really hard to start the fire like they do on TV with rubbing sticks
Right,
together
that
and
takes
doing all
forever.
that. And what that will do is it'll start and it'll burn long enough to ignite smaller twigs and branches and leaves, et cetera, et cetera.
But what do you do?
Well, you've got to eat your food.
No. How do you make one?
You take an egg carton, a cardboard egg carton.
Yeah.
You fill each little egg spot with dryer lint, and then you pour hot wax into it. Leave a little bit of the dryer lint exposed.
Yeah.
And it's a homemade candle. And then you take your flint and the dull edge of your steel knife, and that makes sparks. The dryer lint lights up. You've got a little fire starter there.
Yeah.
See, what she has done is actually brilliant, and everybody could do that. Just make yourself a bug-out bag full of essentials that'll keep you alive for 3-4 days. And like you said,
I'd even forget a flashlight. I mean, I'm a poor packer.
in your water thing, you get a couple of 5-gallon cans, brand new. Fill them up with water. It's simple.
Well, GLers, you can find all of that information on the most recent Crabby Coffee Shop podcast.
And
So-
we've decided. There's been some naysayers among my friends. They don't think this is going to happen. And in the event that it doesn't happen, we're going to have part 2 next week, where we actually have a professional, a guest on.
All right.
Well, am I still going to get heat then if the world does come to an end at 3 o'clock tomorrow and I don't have the show posted? Am I still going to get emails
Yes.
from the GLers?
Yes. Those who have retained electricity.
Okay.
If they have to seek you out personally and tell you how unhappy they are, they will.
Okay.